thank you, first of all, for doing what it is that each of you does in the legal profession. Thank you for having the mindset that the law and the following of the law and the actual application of, interpreting of, but not rejiggering of the law is exactly how things are supposed to operate. We've sort of lost our way, it would seem, in society to a degree, in that increasingly we see decisions, legislative decisions, policy decisions, being made from seats and by people where that is not the job that they have or the expectation. And it comes ironically, thank you, it comes ironically at the expense of the very thing that is the greatness of America, of a system with checks and balances, of a system with a divided government. The founders, while not perfect people, were certainly more well-read than the average person today. They were students of the greatest minds and the thinkers. And it is that collective wisdom that put in place a system that, again, while not perfect, is pretty impressive and it works pretty well. My approach to this, and some of you know me and some of you don't, and I truly am grateful to those of you that are visiting Kentucky, perhaps. Any of you here in Kentucky for the very first time? Awesome. One person sort of shot a hand up. I won't even look at you. I won't single you out that way. But here's the thing. Thank you for being here. And I hope what you'll find is that this Kentucky is not at all unlike America. We really are, and the thing I love about it, as a person who was not born here, I've lived here for 19 years, coming up on 19 years. I had to clarify that because then somebody would write a whole article on the fact that I said 19 when it's really 18 in like 6 months or 7 months. But you think I'm kidding. I'm not. That's the sad thing. Trust me. I will say this, though. It is what I love about this state is the fact that we are a blend of sort of Southern graciousness and hospitality and tradition and respect and quality of life melded with this sort of Midwestern sensibility and work ethic, all rolled up in this magic little place right in the middle of America called Kentucky. Some of you know that very well. In that respect, we really are sort of a microcosm of what America itself is. And this is part of what I love about the job that I have. I'm a student of history. I love how we came here as a nation. I love the responsibility that we have. The fact that we do have this divided government. The fact that there are these checks and balances. But the fact that, frankly, we have a tremendous responsibility to preserve that and not allow these lines to be blurred, and not certainly to be among those that might be the ones blurring those lines. That's the greatest danger of all. Because every one of us is a human, every one of us has a certain amount of ego, every one of us has a certain amount of belief that our opinion is just a little stronger or more well nuanced or thought out than the other person's. And so we might, if given the authority, use that assumption of the way we approach things to just sort of bend the needle a little. I would encourage you, please don't. Please don't. Apply the law. It seems silly I would be asking you that. The fact that you're members of this society would indicate that you're people who get that. And I'm grateful to you. I'm grateful by this turnout. I truly am. I would encourage you to find other like-minded folks and bring them into your ranks and encourage them to truly follow the system. It's not that complicated. It really isn't. And my challenge as a governor is to try to use all that has been done in the past and has been afforded to us to continue to create and to preserve a citizen legislator-run system that actually follows laws that have previously been set. Case precedent should matter more than an opinion. Case law should matter more than somebody's, cocktail party chatter and what they do or don't get invited to. And you know this for a fact. You have peers, you have friends who sometimes will do what's socially expedient, may or may not be legally sound. Don't be those people. Thank you for not being those people. My mission ultimately is to try to make Kentucky the best that it can possibly be. I'll save you all my thoughts on what my vision is in its specific forms. But I respect America. I love America. The American dream I just shared with another group right before I came here. The American dream is not just an anecdote. It's not just something you read about in a book. It's not something that looks good on a bumper sticker or something. There really is nothing like it anywhere else in the world. And for a kid like me, in my path, and some of you know it, from not unlike many of you, from a very simple, humble world, sharing a bedroom with 3 brothers in a little unheated house near the Canadian border, raising animals, didn't even, very few kids from where I was from even went on to school at a post-secondary level. To be afforded that opportunity, to have served this nation in the military, to have been able to study and learn and ultimately follow a path that has put me in this position, if that's not the American dream, I don't know what is. And I guess at every turn, what we're fighting for is the preservation of that for the next generation. I do have a lot of children, and that's why I'm doing it, selfishly. I mean, I want my children to have the same opportunities that we were given, where it isn't an anecdote, where it isn't something we look at years later in a textbook and remember when. When our founders pledged their lives, fortunes, and sacred honor, they meant it. That too was not a bumper sticker. There was nothing in it for them. It wasn't to help them get elected to something. It wasn't some kind of a catchphrase that, hey, I know, we'll be the lives, fortune, and sacred honors guy. That'll be popular. That was not even a little. And every one of them gave some or all of those things. And in some measure, each of you in your respective roles, and me and mine, and so many others, are required, in fact, we do the jobs that we're asked to do, to give some modern-day equivalent of the same. And if, in fact, we don't give some modern-day equivalent of our own lives, fortunes, and sacred honor, shame on us. Shame on us.